Welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes or Less Ship Review, we're taking a look at the Anvil Hawk, a single-seat light fighter. Let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. The Anvil Hawk. Let's talk about it, because this ship, while it looks amazing, I mean, it has phenomenal looks, it doesn't have much really going for it right now. And there's a couple reasons to that. First of all, the weapons package you have on here is interesting to say the least, and it can definitely hit pretty hard depending on, the pilot that is flying this ship. But there's also a big problem with those weapons, which I will go over here in just a second. Speaking of which, you have 4 size 2 M4A laser cannons, and then you also have 2 size 1 sucker punch distortion cannons. Now, you also have an EMP generator on this ship, so you could activate that in the middle of a fight and disable someone's ship or shields, depending on the situation. But that EMP generator truly is hit and miss on whether or not you're actually going to hit the target, and if you do, if it's actually going to do much at all. Now, as you can see, this thing does have quite the big tail end here. This is what's considered a prisoner transport, and typically you could open this up from the back, you used to be able to, and lay in it yourself. Recently, every time you try, this does not open. There is no way to open this rear hatch. So, and I don't know what I just did, but yeah, you can't open this rear hatch. It's just not working for some reason. They broke it. Click, 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 nothing. Now, this ship doesn't have really any other standards passes on it yet, so there's really no gold standard on it. None of your components are visible or, able to be swapped out unless they're hiding on the top of the ship, which if they are, what a terrible design. How do you get up there and do that? You'd have to park this thing and then put like a ladder system over it, like a bridge system, to where you can actually get up to the top of the ship. It's got quite the interesting design. And I will say, this ship looks amazing, especially when it's folded out in its full attack array. Like when you put up the landing gear, everything folds out, which I'm going to show you on screen now. No missiles on this ship, so you don't have any missiles at all. All you have is the technically 6 guns. The distortion cannons are meh. There's a right here, and then you got your laser cannons, of course, 2 on the bottom and then 2 on the top. Now, you do lose a lot of these weapons if you start taking wing damage, which really isn't hard to do in this ship. You take wing damage very quickly, and then once you start losing wings, you start losing pretty much everything else with this ship, from maneuverability to, wanting to stay in the cockpit. Now, you do have, and let's talk about that really quick. The weapon's supposedly 944 DPS. Well, okay, sure. I'm not a fan still. 944 is not terrible, but it just feels like, and here's the reason, and I'll show you when I get in the cockpit, the capacitors on this is terrible. They're absolutely terrible. You have a very limited amount of shots. Even if you were to take the power triangle and put it at 100%, you are straight up limited on how many shots you have before you have to kind of reset, pull away, or really maneuver your way around getting hit yourself by another player or whatever target you're engaging. This is a light fighter, supposed to contend with things like the Arrow and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's also, I feel like it's like the perfect little bounty ship if it worked better, right? Because it has that little prison pod at the back. If that ever even becomes viable for player versus player, I don't know if it will. It seems like a complicated system to me. I don't know how we're ever going to truly be able to put handcuffs on a player, especially when they're in another ship. Even with the EMP generator and knocking their ship out, I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be too many ways out of getting put in a prisoner pod as a player. Now, this ship does have 2 size 1 shields, 3,000 total shield HP, and it is bubble shield, so it's just, again, another reason why the ship has its problems. You have a very small limited amount of shield HP, and it does go down pretty quick, and then you only have 12,200 ship HP. So the second that shield gets taken out, you are already in danger of your life ending because, oh my gosh, the sun is going down. That's lovely. Because, I mean, the second your shields are gone, you're already losing tons of ship HP. And depending on the target you're going, that's fighting you, they could have ballistics and just going right through the shield anyway. So this ship, you got to be really good at not getting hit, which it won't be too hard to do because it's very small ship, and it's very agile. Very agile. So if you do enough dogfighting practice to where you try all the maneuvers like circle strafing and all that, this would be a pretty hard ship to really hit, especially depending on what the enemy is flying in. Anything bigger than this, and they're going to have a hard time. To get in, you go ahead and go right here to the front. You'll have enter pilot seat, open exterior, open storage. Open exterior, nothing really to it. Doesn't do anything. It just opens up a little bit. This is where you're going to get in. And then open storage obviously is going to open your storage menu. Again, I can't find any access like areas for components, so they're either at the top of the ship or they just don't have them in yet. I'm going to go with they don't have them in yet. Another ship in the long list of ships that need their gold standard pass, and at this rate, if they're just doing one ship a year, we will probably never see half the ships that deserve it get it. Let's go ahead and hop here into the Hawk. That's not always a terrible thing, but I feel like they need to dedicate an entire team of like maybe 6 to 8 people to go through all the old ships and really give it the love and attention that they all need. The ships that don't need complete reworks and, changes to their overall design, those ships could be easier like this. All you need to do is put the components in, make the buttons work, etc., etc. You're good to go, right? But ships that need kind of a redesign, like a Freelancer or a Constellation, you probably got to go a little bit further than that. But we're in the cockpit now. You have 4 MFDs, and you also have your master warning system at the top there, as you can see. So the MFDs, master warning. You do have an ejection seat, if I can look through my thick armor. And then, of course, you got a lot of your buttons here with the hovering text. Now, if you see all the capacitors, like I was saying, you have 17 shots with all the M4As, and then you have 8 sucker punch. If I was to switch my power triangle to 100%, that goes to 20 and 9. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I say this because when you're engaged into a fight, this is not going to last you at all. Like, you're going to be out of firing within the matter of a few seconds. Let me turn on my engines here. I'll take off now that it's getting dark out here, and I'll show you, like, I'm shooting right now and I'm already almost out of ammo, and now I'm out, right? So now I got to wait for it to kick back in. It reloads fast when you're on 100% power triangle, but if I was to suck it back down to your regular power triangle to where you're not going to be reloading as fast and then start shooting, this is where it becomes a big, big problem. And if you're not careful, like, look how slow that is. Now you're going to start shooting again. You're always going to be playing catch up on your ammo, right? Let's go ahead and take off and maneuver out of here. So this ship has a big capacitor issue, major capacitor issue. So not only, let's fold these wings up, show you what that looks like. So put the gear up and it will automatically open up, and then it turns into that. That just looks so sick. It looks so cool. Like, that is like one of the coolest designed light fighters I've seen in this game. That is super just cool. I mean, 17 is crap. I don't care how much you hit your target. You're going to be out of ammo so quick, and they're going to be laying into you depending on what you're fighting. Like an arrow or a gladius will lay into you for time and time again while you're in the middle of having your capacitors recharge a lot more than they are. So hopefully they can work on that. You have 583 quantum fuel in this ship, so you're not going far. This is definitely one of those ships that you prefer to have like a, mothership that you'd go to. Obviously, you're not going to be going the distance in it. It doesn't have any sort of bed or any sort of interior. So you're going to be going from station to station or mothership to mothership. And honestly, that's pretty much this ship. I'll show you how to activate the EMP really quick. If you go to menu and then you do power and then you go to items. So you see right here on the right side of the screen where I'm circling. Let me see if I can get a better look here. So items here, and then you would just go to power on the burst generator. Once you do that and that's green, it'll go over, and then you just hit right click, and then it's going to start charging that EMP, which you can start seeing around your ship, and everybody else is going to see this too, so be wary of that. And then once it hits 100%, you can go ahead and fire that thing off. It's got a kind of a limited range, so you're going to be right up on your target when you do. So you just tap right click and boom, it's going to shoot it off. You're also going to damage your own shields. You're going to damage your friendly shields. It's it's not going to play any friends with anybody, so just be wary of that. Otherwise, honestly, what would I give this ship with everything that it has? And really, honestly, I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I was kind of jumping back and forth between a 6 and an 8, and you know, this year, yeah, well, the reason being is because the capacitors are a really big issue with this ship, but upon further review, you can actually see that it does have more HP and more shields than an Anvil Arrow. Now, the reason why I'm giving it an 8 and not higher is just because it does have a lot of weakness on its wings, and overall, this ship the capacitor issue is a big one. They really need to modify and add just a little bit more on the capacitor side of things, and then this ship would be probably a much better ship. Well, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.